Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing an Abyss Actor deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck just got an amazing wave of support out of Photon Hypernova that increased the power level of this deck by a lot. It's super fun to be able to play and I'm really excited to show you guys this list. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Abyss Actor Superstar. Abyss Actor Superstar is actually our main boss monster that we're trying to summon to the field extremely quickly, and it has a really awesome effect that when normal summon or special summon, your opponent's spells and traps cannot be activated. And once per turn, you can set one Abyss script spell directly from your deck, but it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase, which is a really good effect to be able to get to the exact Abyss script card that we want when we need it. We then play 3 copies of Abyss Actor Melomadonna. Melomadonna is a really good 3-of in the deck that's really great to be able to put in your scale because it's a 0 scale. And she has the ability you can pay 1,000 life points to be able to add an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Abyss Actor and Pendulum monsters, even if this card leaves the field, which is not that big of a deal because we want to swarm with our Abyss Actor monsters. This card is a great monster effect as well that it gains 100 attack for each Abyss Actor or Abyss script spell in your graveyard, and you can only use the following effects this card once per turn. That when a Pendulum monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if an Abyss script spell or effect is activated, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck, but return to the hand during the end phase, which is a crazy powerful effect. We then play 3 copies of Abyss Actor Wild Hope. Wild Hope is my favorite Abyss Actor in the entire deck and has a crazy powerful effect that once per turn, you can target one Abyss Actor card in your other Pendulum zone and its scale becomes 9 until the end of the turn, which is a great effect to be able to just basically fix your scales and have the exact scale that you need to be able to Pendulum summon. It also has the ability that once per turn, you can make this card gain 100 attack for each Abyss Actor monster that you currently control with a different name until the end of the turn. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can add an Abyss Actor card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, which is a pretty good effect. We then play 3 copies of Curtain Raiser. Curtain Raiser is a great once per duel effect that if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your Pendulum zone to your side of the field, which is great to get this card on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Comic Relief. Comic Relief is a really neat card and super unique in this deck because it has the ability that if it's in your scale, you can target an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster that you control and one monster that your opponent controls and switch control of both of those monsters, then destroy this card, which is a really weird effect but really cool. And it also has the ability to take no battle damage from attacks involving this card, and once per turn during your standby phase, give control of this card to your opponent, and once per turn, if control of this face-up card changes, activate this effect. The owner of this card, which is going to be the player that actually summoned it to the field, can destroy one set Abyss script spell in their spell and trap card zone, which is crazy good for this deck because when your opponent destroys your Abyss script cards, they get bonus effects. This card is a definite 3-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Abyss Actor Extras. Abyss Actor Extras is a really good extender in this deck and a definite 3-of in this build for all of its really cool effects. That if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your Pendulum zone, which is a really cool effect. We then play just a single copy of Sassy Rookie. Sassy Rookie is really good as a 1-of in the deck because it has the ability that the first time that this card would be destroyed by battle or by card effect each turn, it is not destroyed. So it's really tough for your opponent to deal with this card. And if this card is destroyed by battle or leaves the card or field in the monster zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one level 4 lower Abyss Actor monster from your deck, except another copy of this card. And if this card in the Pendulum zone is destroyed, you can target one level 4 lower monster into your opponent controls and destroy it, so it's a really good 1-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really good in this particular deck just to deal with your opponent touching the deck and stopping them from doing that, just to be able to stop them from searching cards, and it's one of the best hand traps this format. We then play 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is just absolutely crazy this format with all the decks swarming the field, so it's a definite 3 of the deck to break your opponent's board, and it's really good in this build. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of the Abyss Playhouse. This card is a good 1-of now. I don't feel like you need any more than a single copy of this card, but it's really crazy in this deck that you can reveal an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster and an Abyss Script spell in your hand to be able to add an Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand with a different name than the revealed spell. And while you control a Pendulum summoned Abyss Actor Pendulum monster, any monster effect activated by your opponent becomes destroy one set spell or trap your opponent controls, which is a crazy effect to be able to use with this card. But you can only use the effects of this card once per turn, but it's really good in this deck as a 1-of. We then play a single copy of Opening Ceremony. Opening Ceremony is really good because it lets you gain 500 life points for each Abyss Actor monster that you control, and if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extract, then you can draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. That's a really good effect for this card to have. We then play a single copy of Abyss-tainment. Abyss-tainment's a good 1-of the deck, so it lets you tribute an Abyss Actor monster and then target an Abyss Script spell in your graveyard and set it to your field, and you can only use the effect of this card up to twice per turn. And if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extract, you can special summon any number of Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters from your deck, which is great to help you swarm the field and OTK the opponent. This is actually the main way that I OTK whenever I go in for game with this deck. This card just helps you summon out a bunch of Abyss Actors to your side of the field and go in for game. We then play 3 copies of Abyss Actors Dress Rehearsal. Dress Rehearsal is an insane new support card that we just got out of Photon Hypernova, and it helps out the deck so much. It's so powerful in this deck, and it's just really good because at the start of your main phase 1, you can add 1 Abyss Actor card and an Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand, but for the rest of the turn after this effect resolves, you can't pendulum summon monsters except for Abyss Actor monsters, which that's all we're summoning anyways in this deck, but this card is essentially like a double Rhoda, which is crazy powerful, and it's really good in this deck because it gets you the exact Abyss Script you need and the exact Abyss Actor that you need just off of activating this card. We then play 3 copies of Abyss Script Dramatic Story. Dramatic Story is really good as a 3-of the deck because it lets you target an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control and then special summon 1 Abyss Actor monster from your deck with a different name, then place the targeted monster in your Pendulum zone, or you get to destroy it, which is a pretty good effect to be able to basically set a scale while also getting a special summon from deck. And if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extract, then you can return up to 2 cards on the field back to the hand, which is a double bounce, which is so good. We then play 3 copies of Rise of the Abyss King. You can play this card at 2 now that we have Dress Rehearsal, but I still really like this card as a 3-of because it does so much. It lets you target face-up cards on the field up to the number of attack position Abyss Actor monsters with different names that you control and destroy them, which is just such a powerful effect. And if you control a level 7 or higher Abyss Actor monster, your opponent cannot activate cards and effects in response to this card's activation, which is a great way to out a bunch of different cards that your opponent might have, and it's really good to hard draw into this card if you have multiple Abyss Actors on the field, but it's the main one that I usually search in the deck off of Dress Rehearsal. And this card is just so good in the deck as well, because if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extract, you can add 2 Abyss Actor cards and or Abyss Script spells with different names from your deck to your hand, which just means you have 2 double searches in this deck. This card is really good in this build. So that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3 copies of Impermanence. Impermanence is really good as a 3 on the deck because it does lock down your opponent's monster effects, but it can also lock down entire columns of spells and traps, which is really good. This card is a definite 3 of the deck to go along with your copies of your other hand traps, and this card is really good right now in the format. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Abyss Actor Super Producer. Super Producer is really good in this deck, but I only feel like you need 2 copies of this card. It's a awesome new card that we just got out of Photon Hypernova that during the main phase, quick effects, you can target one face-up card that you control, destroy it, and then you can apply one of these 2 effects. Either place one of the Abyss Playhouse field spells from your deck face-up in your field spell zone, or place an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone, which is great to be able to get instantly to the get to the field spell, because this card just helps you get to that card extremely quickly, which is why I've bumped it down to 1 from previous builds, because this card just instantly gets to it, or it fixes your scales, which is really nice. We then play 2 copies of Hyper Director. Hyper Director is really good as a 2 in the deck. You really only need 2 copies of Hyper Director in this particular build, but it helps out a lot because it lets you target 1 card in your Pendulum zone and just instantly special summon it. Then place 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster with a different name from your deck or face of your extra deck in the Pendulum zone, and also you cannot normal or special monsters for the rest of the turn except Abyss Actor monsters, but that's great to instantly get you a monster on your side of the field while also fixing your scales. We then play a single copy of Underworld Goddess. This deck swarms like crazy, so this card is super easy to be able to out your opponent's board. It's just a great monster to be able to make in this deck. We then play a single copy of Boral Sword. I feel like Boral Sword is better in this deck than Access Code, because we're pretty much only summoning Dark from the extra deck, so this card is really good at helping you OTK, because you don't get multiple pops with Access Code in this particular build. You're only going to get maybe 1 in this build, so this card is really neat, and especially with the 2 downwards arrows, it helps out a lot to be able to Pendulum summon. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is really good as a 1 in the deck for the arrows, and it's a multiple monster negate, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. This is great to be able to spin cards off the field. We then play a single copy of Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond the Pendulum works in any Pendulum deck, and it's just great at getting the exact card that you need from your deck. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena is great as a 1 in the deck to be able to basically link summon during your opponent's turn into Nightmare Unicorn to spin a card. So this card is really good in the deck. Also, its 2 downwards arrows is really nice. We then play a single copy of Raiders Knight. Raiders Knight is a really cool tech card in this deck because it helps you summon out your copy of Ark Rebellion. Ark Rebellion is an insanely powerful boss monster in this deck. I love this card in the deck, and I make it all the time with this build because you only have to summon out your copy of Raiders Knight, then detach a material from Raiders Knight to summon out your copy of Ark Rebellion. And Ark Rebellion gets absolutely massive when it's on the field to help you OTK the opponent. This card is really, really good in the deck and a definite 1 of in this build. I love the Raiders Knight package in this deck because it's so easy to summon because all of our Abyss Actors are dark and it's super easy to play in this build. We then play a single copy of Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Absolute Dragon is really good as a 1 of in the deck because when it leaves the field you get to special summon an Odd Eyes monster from your X deck, which is really good, and I really like that ability because basically when any player declares an attack, you can detach a material from this card, negate the attack, then you can special summon an Odd Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard, and if this XZ summon card is sent to the graveyard, then you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your X deck, except another copy of this card, which is always going to be Vortex to give you a negate. We then play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is a great 1 of in this deck to be able to board wipe the field, just in case you need to. And then finally, a single copy of Vortex Dragon because it is a walking negate, which is really cool. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Abyss Actor before, you definitely should give this deck a try because it's super fun to be able to play, and it's a really cool Pendulum deck, especially with all the new support that we just got out of Photon Hypernova. So anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.